Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to DBC Post-Talladega edition. What's up, Tom? I'm Freddie Kraft, by the way, spotter for Bubba Wallace and Dean Thompson this weekend. What's up, Thomas?
What's up, man?
How are you today?
I'm all right.
You still working at Rick Ware?
Still, yeah.
They still got you.
Yeah. There was a couple of gallons short on fuel, but
Is that your fault?
probably. we got caught. I think we both got caught speeding
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Karsyn,
But anyway, we wouldn't have made it, I don't think.
Karsyn, how's your day?
It's good so far. I'm sure after we're done with this, it probably won't be.
What is that?
To you.
Come on.
I was a nice week off.
I was
Not
going to say,
having
you
to
guys
deal
haven't
with
seen us
y'all.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was. But for once, we had a Cars Tour race. Ended at 9:15, so nothing's raining on my parade today. What about you, Freddie? Are you still
That's a
hungover
good night's
from
sleep then.
I know.
Wow.
Well, not when you got to drive home afterwards, but
Did you drive the truck and trailer home?
Yeah.
Ah, good
one of
work.
them.
Joining us in the studio today is something that I never, ever in a million years would have thought would happen. But welcome to DBC, Kyle Busch. How are you today, sir?
The phone kept ringing. Couldn't get it to stop. It's like, geez, get these guys to
Wait,
go
you
away.
were calling?
I didn't call him. I might have sent some people. They asked me, I said, should we reach out to Kyle to come on? And I was like, you can. I just don't ever think there's any way he's going to say yes. And then a couple weeks later, maybe a month later or so, they said, Kyle's coming. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. We're supposed to do this a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, something
but
happened.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for stopping by, man.
No problem. I was hoping to talk about a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured, talk about, next gen car. Your plate racing stats have been, I feel like, considerably better. The racing is, we'll talk about the racing as we go. But for you, it seems like you guys always kind of find yourself in the right spot.
We do. Cars are fast. Guys at RCR, ECR, obviously they build really good speedway stuff. Atlanta's been good, Daytona, Talladega. And, it used to be like if you were good at Daytona, you weren't really good at Talladega. There was something weird about the two that you had to have a different package for. But our guys have really zoned in on exactly what you need for all three speedway places. And we've been quick. Just sort of screwed up this weekend. So that kind of sucks.
It's funny because I feel like a lot, and I think I notice it. I'm sure you probably notice it. I know me and Derek talk about it a little bit, Derek Neal and Kyle Spotter. It seems like a lot of times you end up just working with who's ever around you. And for like a lot, I feel like the last 3 or 4 years, it's you and Bubba have kind of found each other at some of the end of these races. Talladega a couple years ago, the one you won, we were around each other. Atlanta, the 3-wide finish, we were around each other. I feel like somehow we always kind of find each other at the end of these things.
Yeah, no, we do. I seem to have a few friends still on the Toyota side, so that works. I've kind of got a couple friends on the Chevy side. I've got 0 friends on the Ford side. So it just kind of works out that way where you try to find those guys that you can work with and you've been with before. So you got to have a little chemistry between those guys, and it works.
Yeah, for sure. Going back now, obviously you've been at RCR. I feel like we've seen a big change in the public perception of Kyle. I hear a lot less booing.
I get cheers at Talladega, man.
But going back to that, obviously a couple years ago you sold KBM, and I know how much that meant to you. That the company, how much does that hurt, or did it take a toll? Did it at all? Were you happy to get rid of it at that point?
No, I still kind of miss those days. I do miss the camaraderie and those people, the Rowdys of the world, the Eric Phillips of the world, and those guys that were always there every single day working to make that company as strong as it was and as competitive and dominant in the truck series. And so, miss working with the Toyota guys as well, too, on that front. But just kind of came to a point where it was starting to look a little bit grimmer on sustainability. And so I was like, you know what, this might be the time to just kind of say like, hey, if there's anybody out there, come take it. And then all of a sudden a knock on the door from the Spire guys. They were like, yeah, we need your shop. We want to put a cup team in there. We want to put 3 cup teams in there, and we want to run the trucks out of there. Well, we want to run 5 trucks out of there. I'm like, guys, there's not enough room for all of that. So they make it work somehow, some way, but it is certainly full over there. But the chassis shop was always great. Those guys are amazing, build real fast trucks. And so I still get to go run my 5 truck races a year, which is fun. I got to run Atlanta, won that one. And then coming up here shortly, I'll run North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville, and then Watkins Glen as well.
Was Andy G part of the sale? Because I know he just stayed. I feel like, did he just not want to leave his office, or had that?
Andy G, Andy is stamped his flag in the ground. forever stay at 351 Mazeppa, I guess, you know. So I love that guy. He's awesome. So glad to see him prosper in his new role and what he's got going on over there. So I heard he's got a couple pay raises. So proud of him for
That's
that.
good. That's good. I know, Tommy. We're talking about a little before the show. You know how at this point now, obviously everybody knows your background, knows where you came from, but now moving forward, like how cool is it for you to get the opportunity to race with Brexton? You know, I saw the one race at Millbridge. I don't know if you guys have raced against each other since then, but that was an awesome. Just you're not even watching the leaders, you just focus on you guys.
Right. Which was funny because I gave Brexton a hard time afterwards. Of course, I'm like, well, after the heat race I did, because he started second in the heat race, which is actually prime starting spot. You know, the inside doesn't necessarily go that great, but the outside does. And if you can clear off a 2, then it's yours, you know. And so he messed up and he ended up fading, I think, to 3rd in his heat. And so he had to start behind me. But if he would have finished second or won his heat, he would start on the pole or even right in front of me for the feature. So I'm like, dude, you could have beat me. It was all down to the heat race, you know? And so anyways, I at least got bragging rights on him that I ran in front of him. Although he was running me down, he was catching me and was about ready to make a move on me, and a caution came out. And then I was able to blast on a restart and make a couple moves to get some spots. But that was fun. That was really cool. That was just... I didn't really expect it to be me and him at 9 years old, that we'd be racing against each other that soon. But he's really developed well. He's really come a long ways. He's certainly very passionate about what he's doing, but very good, has a really good racecraft about him. Honestly, I've torn up more stuff in our micro world than he has. You know, I've gone through more front axles than he has. But it was neat that, you know, at our home track here, Millbridge, and we get a chance to go out there and run against one another, with him being able to run in the wing class this year with his success that he had last year in restricted. And when he goes out of town, he still runs restricted, but he also runs the A-class cars as well. And so, yeah, it was just cool to, hey, might as well do it now. Let's do it now. Let's get this out of the way. And he went out there I think a couple weeks later, and we screwed up in qualifying. He was way too loose, so he had to start from the back, and he came forward and made some good. You raced with him that night.
I was back there with him too.
You were right there too. You had a rough night to start as well, but you guys were fast later. But then, I ran non-wing, so I actually had a good, respectable 4th place finish in non-wing. So, yeah.
What is your thoughts on the development, like for Brexton or anybody else? Why are you going down these paths of what you're doing with him to get, like, what is the vision? Yeah,
to me, I look at Tiny Kyle Larson. You know, I would say he's probably obviously one of the top talents right now in our space and in the dirt world space as well too. He can get in anything, anytime, and go fast. And so I feel like the dirt world and having that expertise and feeling comfortable crooked and being sideways and not having the grip has helped him a lot over the years, and just being able to carry cars further than they were probably potentially worth. And then obviously the pavement side as well too, to just kind of get that craft as well of being on the pavement. So like Bandoleros, Legends cars being on the pavement, the junior sprints, the micros, and maybe midgets one day of being on the dirt world. I don't know that he needs to go sprint car racing, although he says he wants to. Mom definitely doesn't want him to go that path, but I think he should get some races and some of that stuff a little bit later on down the road. But then obviously super late models and things like that will be coming up soon too. So I like both worlds. Just don't stay in something too long and build bad habits. You know, get in there, suffer for a little bit, get good as soon as you can, win a few times, move on to the next thing, which honestly, I don't think we've really suffered in anything. You know, he's been really good right out of the box in all the things that he's done. So he gets plenty of track time. I mean, I think that's, you know, a lot of dads across the country, budget is everything, right? You only have so much money to do whatever you can do. And so with Brex, obviously we're wide open. We run all the things. And so he has that opportunity and that blessing of being able to go run 130 races out of the year. And so like his craft and his ability and being able to get through a lot of situations happens so regularly that he's so much further advanced than many others at 9 years old.
Exactly. So I think your first dirt race is when you guys did that all-star race at Eldora. Is that the first time you drove something?
No. So when I grew up in Vegas, and I was primarily pavement Legends cars. But I did run some dirt dwarf cars, some dirt Legends cars, and then I ran 5 races in IMCA modifieds. And on my 5th race, I was battling with a guy for 3rd, And I was only 15 at the time, and you're supposed to be 16, but I allegedly, I forged a birth certificate.
We hear a lot of that on this show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably weren't the first and won't be the last.
And so back in that day, no social media, all that sort of stuff, so you didn't really know how old people were. Internet was just kind of brand new. And anyways, I dumped a guy for third place because he was blocking me. And so after the race, he wanted to fight in the pits, and I couldn't get out of my car, so I was stuck in my car. But when he came over to yell at me, he was like, "Oh my God, he's just a kid." And so he called the local sports reporter at the news station to pull up public records to see how old I was, to know if he could kick my ass or not.
That's a good story. And I was just wondering how you related to, like what you said with Kyle, little Kyle, we'll call him for this show, that feeling of getting as loose as you possibly can and catching in the dirt and doing all this stuff and catching the rim. Has that helped you run like the High Line at Darlington or Kansas or places like that, to know that feeling? Is that why Reddick and little Kyle are so good at those places, you think?
They are comfortable on the edge, yes. Yeah, I think when you are a dirt star and you go, it's not happening around North Carolina. I mean, Millbridge, yeah, you can run the wall at times, right up against the fence, but when you go to many of these Midwest places where it actually builds a cushion and you got to put the right rear up on the cushion, you got to be bent enough to kind of back into it to then ride along it with the right rear. Because if you steer into it and you catch it with the right rear, you plow over it. But so these guys are just so good at like being able to put it right up to it and early enough to it that then they can throttle through the corner. You learn a good sense of that on the dirt, and being able to do that sideways with not a lot of grip, they're really figuring out that finesse. Yeah.
What's Brexton's schedule look like? I know you got a lot of micro stuff. Is he gonna make legend car starts this year? Or?
Yeah. So let's see. This weekend, I think we're going to Kansas, as long as the weather lets us. We'll go to Missouri. There's a big race out in Missouri this weekend and next weekend while we're actually out there in Kansas. So I'll run on Friday night with him, but I can't run Saturday. And then we're testing the legend car. We've already tested 3 or 4 places this year. We're going to test it again on Wednesday. His debut, Joe Ryan, those guys with the Legends cars, Joe Ryan. So we're working with those guys a little bit. I'm doing my own program, but with some Joe Ryan help. And so his first race will be at Hickory, May 22nd at Hickory.
Awesome.
And Joe Ryan is like, "You are crazy."
Yeah.
That place is fast.
Yeah.
It's sketchy. Like, you don't want your kid to run his first race at Hickory. I said, throw him to the wolves.
I promise you, it's better than running his first race at like the summer shootout.
Yeah.
Don't even do that.
He'll go over there and just whoop up his ass all the time.
We're doing the summer shootout, so we will be there. We're running it.
That is like voodoo to me.
I know. I ran it one year, and I think my best finish was 3rd, so I have nothing to tout over there.
What would he? I guess he'd be a young lion, or
he can be a young lion, but we're going to start him in Chargers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Chargers, they don't really run for points. It's just sort of get out there, get experience,
okay.
and so with him just running summer shootout, he'll run the Bandolero, and because the Bandolero Nationals are at Charlotte. And so we'll run the whole summer shootout with the Bandolero to get him ready for the national race. And then we'll throw in his Charger races with that. Maybe he'll win, 3 of them and get kicked out and have to move up to Young Lions. Who knows? We'll see.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit here about you now. Obviously you're racing with him a lot. Now, is this something that you're just really into, enjoying yourself, or is this something you just want to do with Brexton, or how do you feel about the dirt world right now?
I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It's just, while we were out doing all of this, traveling to these places, and I'm sitting there in the pit area, and when he was just running junior sprints, it was like, okay, I'm kind of bored. I could do something too. I might as well be out there honing my skills, or at least learning this thing and seeing what it's all about. But so I've gotten into it and have run everywhere that we've been. I have a car for me, car for Brex, and so whenever I get the chance to get behind the wheel to go to the dirt shows, I'll go get some.
You see something that is something continuing, like even if Brexton moves on, or like, Brexton's obviously, I think the ultimate goal would be to transition to pavement at some point. Would you go back and continue to run dirt, do you think, or like once he's done, you're probably going to move on from that?
I think I'll keep the stuff for a while, and if he likes it and still wants to go do it, and like Tulsa Shootout, right? Like we'll keep going and running Tulsa Shootout. He has. Right now, he's 9. He can be in the restricteds until he's 13 or 14. So we've got 4 tries of that class to be able to go get a win. So our goal, knock on wood, our aspirations would be for him to be the first one to collect all trophies of every division at Tulsa Shootout. So that would be pretty cool. So we'll keep running that stuff when it fits in. I look at Gavin Boschel, for instance, right? Like he did all the micro world, he did the midget stuff, and now he's in the pavement world. And so we'll definitely go do the pavement stuff. And then when we can on weekends where we still have opportunity to go run some dirt stuff, stay on some dirt stuff and keep that craft.
Plus, it's going to be like, oh, Brexton's going to run a super. Oh, now I need one. Now I'm going to race one.
I don't think so. I've seen the budget it takes to run those. I think I'm good. I think the dirt world is more my realm.
And talking about that, you have literally probably driven just about every form of motorsport there is. Like, what would be your favorite car? The car you thought was the most fun to drive, whether it was a super, whether it was an Xfinity package, one of the Cup packages. Like, what can you lean back on and think that was the one I enjoyed a lot?
I've always enjoyed the supers. Yeah, I loved growing up with the supers when I ran out in Vegas, when I got to go run. ASA was kind of super late models a little bit. They were a little different, just a little heavier on a radial tire. But, the supers were always fun. Going to places like Winchester was awesome. IRP was really cool. You get to go to Oxford, obviously Pensacola for the Derby. I never raced Mobile, but that place looks bad to the bone. Looks really cool there. Raced Cordele. Everywhere, all over the place. So
we were talking about your Cordele race a couple of weeks ago, the one when you were out driving down the road.
Yeah.
I literally had to go all the way back around the grandstands in order to come back to the pits.
I was dying.
Yeah.
Then the next race, who was
Doug Barnes ended up out
in
he was in the watermelon patch at the Karsyn.
They got him out with the 4-wheeler, though.
Hey, everyone. Dirty Mo Media and Door Bumper Clear are excited to tell you about our great new partner, American Financing.
American Financing is licensed in all 50 states, and they are a family-owned mortgage lender that's been around for 25 years.
They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings.
With all the uncertainty in the economy today, you want to know you're in good hands when you're considering an important financial decision like buying a house or refinancing. Their mortgage consultants are salary-based, so there's no incentive for them to put you in a loan that doesn't make sense.
American Financing customers save an average of $800 a month, and they don't charge any upfront or hidden fees to find out how much you can save.
You may be able to close in as fast as 10 days, and you also may be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments by refinancing, creating more savings upfront if you need it.
American Financing has helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings, and it's reflected in their reviews on Google.
Call today at 866-889-5022. That's 866-889-5022 or AmericanFinancing.net/door. How was Talladega for everybody?
Kyle,
started out really great.
A great
Qualifying was awesome. I was able to hold it wide open right along the bottom and qualified second. So that was great. Guys brought a fast piece. Yeah.
So now obviously you get the incident early with Brad. Were you pitting? Or were you planning on pitting right there, or was that just caught up in their mess?
We were pitting, and so I was, as I'm going down the backstretch, I'm looking in front of me. I've got Brad in front of me, and then behind me was the 21, so I'm just automatically thinking, okay, forward, so we're pitting here. And as we're coming out of 4, they all started to slow down and check up, and we weren't really straight yet. Like my old adage is, straight. Okay, as soon as you get straight, brake. And so we weren't really straight yet, and they were checking up. So I started to kind of like hedge right a little bit to get to the right side of Brad because he pitted.
Yeah, before you.
He pitted 2 boxes before me. So I'm like, okay, I'm safe to be on his right side coming in to be alongside. And I got touched just barely, ever so slightly. The 21 went right of me, touched me barely on the right rear taillight, which kind of turned me into Brad, which then turned us both sideways. So it all just kind of like culminated right there in that moment. And so that ruined his day, ruined Brad's day, and hindered our day for the first and second stages before we were able to get the front end set back right with the toe and everything. So, but we got through all of that, and then we got into the third stage, and we got our ways to the bottom. We were working our way forward, and that outside lane really suffered for a while there. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, just saving. I think the guys in the front were just
once it
not wanting to go.
Well, no, the Toyotas up front on the bottom, they were rolling.
Oh, yeah.
They were going. Pace was 49.60s.
Yeah. I think that it was like for us, we'll talk about it but I think there was just some of the guys were still saving. They were like, we were trying to push
up
the pace.
On the outside.
Yeah, like Logano was one I know for sure. If he was up there, he was like running 60% throttle.
I swear he was pushing the guy that he was behind.
It was crazy. Like it was some of the we were talking. I was trying to keep pace because we were trying to obviously break away. We were like, if we could just get single file and break away and cause some havoc, but we just never could get away from everybody. It seemed like.
Well, it seemed like everybody sort of picked the pace up a little bit because even where I was at, like I was above 70% throttle. And we were running the 49.60s, and so I'm like, man, okay, like the pace is picked up, so the outside lane is kind of suffering here. So I was just kind of riding and being in that spot. I think we were 10th to 14th, whatever it was, depending on how many cars on the right were ahead. And then, pit stops all started to happen, and I was okay on that one. I made it to pit road. I made it to pit road. Made it to my box. I got left sides on our fuel only. And then, when I exit, what's funny is when we were having our damage repair and everything, I was like, okay, if I get back into this thing, how hard can I leave my box in order to get to the line as fast as I can to exit hard and build my speed? Because I think I was pit box 6. So I was like, okay, can I be up to speed by the time I get to the line? And so I practiced it like 4 or 5 times. And so then I'm like, all right, I'm ready for it. Here we go. This is my moment. And then I gas it up and I get up and I look to the right and the 21 just gets by me and I get in line with the 21 and I'm following him and I look down and I'm like, I didn't see any lights.
Yeah, that means you went too far.
And I was like, I think I'm too fast.
Because that's how yours is. Like if you go too far, your lights just shut off. Like it's like whatever X amount of red.
All reds and then none.
Yeah, if it shuts off, that means you're
Yeah. So
he got caught for speeding too, the 21, and us, we did too.
So you just followed each other.
So me following the 21's pace of what he was rolling obviously baited me into speeding as well. So excuses are excuses. I sped and threw our race away. So I think we were going to finish somewhere 8th to 12th, and
so when we all got in line, I think we were 8th to 12th at the time. That group of speeding cars.
Mm-hmm. For us, Talladega was eventful. We just we'll talk about it more in spot on, spot off. But just trying to do something different, try to run hard and make people react. And I think we executed as well as we could the plan. It's just the plan didn't work. We put ourselves in a position where we had to try to come through the pack, and Ross threw a big block and kind of stacked us all up pretty hard, which is what he's supposed to do. It's not no fault to him. But I thought we had a good day. I think we ended up with like the 3rd most points on the day or something like that. We won a stage, so it's a good run for us. And I told Bob, if you can sign me up for 3rd most points in every plate race, I'll sign up for it for the next 10 years.
That stage win was good for you guys.
Yeah.
You had a great pusher.
Yeah.
Well, we tried pushing him the first stage.
Yeah, he tried. I mean, but the Chipper Jones wasn't a fan of that whole stage. I mean, he was a fan of.
I don't think Logano was a fan.
So judging by the radio transmission, I definitely think Logano was upset with the. It was funny because I told Bubba, like we're side by side with Logano, and I'm like, you're gonna have to try to position yourself here because you're not gonna get a put. It's the 2 and the 21 lined up behind you. They're not going to push you by the 22, at the end of the stage. So just, keep that in your mind. Maybe the stage wins out. Just don't try anything crazy to cost yourself. Just maximize points here, whether it's 2nd or 3rd, whatever it is. And then sure enough, down the backstretch, coming to the left, green checker, the 2 pushes us out. And I'm like, oh, all right, clear down. Now we just got to protect both lanes. And then I heard the radio. I went down. It was funny. Doug Campbell at Spots for Cindric is one of my best friends. And I saw the radio transmissions on somebody was texting to me. And I was like, oh, good. Let me go down there. Joey was everything. And I went down to Doug, and they're all like kind of down there talking amongst themselves. And I went down and said, hey, Dougie, thanks for the push, buddy. And he just got mad and turned around and walked away. But that was fun for me. And Bubba had a good tweet last night about, don't ignore the naysayers. Austin, you did a great job in stage 2 or something like that.
Yeah. It was overall intriguing on Twitter yesterday during the race.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that
that's
Chipper
probably
Jones,
where the most action happened, huh?
Yeah. It was. Thank God it was.
So did you like the ending? Like there was no wrecks, and I mean, like how did that come about? That all the drivers finally said, you know what, it's not worth it. I mean, is that the mindset now? I mean,
pretty much. You pull out a line, and I tweeted it last year. I'm like, you try to go for a win and make a move and pull out a line, and then if only one guy goes with you, you're both going to the back. So that guy doesn't want to go with you. You got to have like a slew of 8 of them to go with you in order to do anything.
And the aggression level wasn't even.
I mean, they were pushing, but I haven't looked at SMT, but I could imagine the front 2 guys being Fords were just holding up the row to just block, right? Yeah. They just wanted to stay side by side.
And the 5 and the 24 were not, they were doing the right things. They weren't like trying to, normally you're in that position, you're going to kind of try to work to get them out of control or get them out of, but they
kept them straight,
they
square.
Backed off. It was just man, there's nothing going to happen.
I saw
today.
people.
I was needing a wreck. I was looking for 5 or 6. I was looking for another 5 or 6 spots. The times where I'm looking for a wreck,
I'd seen some people last night being critical of like the second lane. I think it was Priest, and then it was 2 Hendrick cars. I think it was 24 and 48 maybe. And they're like, I can't believe they didn't even try. They didn't try. They just sat there. They had 2, lined up. I'm like coming to the end, and I'm like, you can't try.
You can't try. You're penalized by trying.
Even like we talk about the end of the race. Bubba. We I'm like, we're just going to have to fill the middle. People are going to get impatient. We're not even going to move. We're just going to stay in the middle, maybe try to wedge your way in some holes that maybe are a little tighter. But if you just stay in the middle, you're going to gain positions. And we went from like 20th to 10th on the last lap just by not changing lanes. Just stay in the middle, and they'll all kind of move out of their way, get impatient, think they're going to make something happen, and nothing ever happens. You just go backwards when you pull out. I think Alex pulled out a line coming through the tri-oval, like a little half-ass run to the top, and went from wherever he was, 4th or 5th, to 9th. It's just...
Well, somebody got shucked. Was it the 10?
The 10 ran out of gas.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he got
He
shucked
moved
out.
up, and then he got shucked out when he was
he moved up because he ran out of fuel.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's still like this racing, we're pretty critical of on here, like plate racing wise. And I see a lot of people complaining like, well, what do you want to go back to single file? Yeah, because even as boring as that, whatever we would run, half a stage or something, single file, at the end of the race, you still felt like you were in the race. You could feel like you were going to you could come from anywhere to win. Now, if you're not in the first 2 or 3 rows, you basically are just hoping for chaos.
Even the second row had a no shot to win.
Yeah.
How frustrating is it for you?
The only time you do is when you get too aggressive and you cause wrecks. That's the only, if it's one, like you're in a lot of these guys have been in a position after they take the white flag, they're going to do it on purpose because the 3rd or 4th place guy is probably the guys that's going to win the race when the caution comes out, right?
Right.
But,
yeah, that's what happened. I think
Us and
Blaney was pushing you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think the 5 and the 24 controlled no chaos yesterday. I think they did the best job when, the guys behind them could have been more aggressive, maybe pushing them, kept going. But I was like, man, there's just nothing. These guys are just being smart. I think they're just tired of that feeling when they hit the wall or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Well, it doesn't feel good.
no.
Blaney's had his fair share of them for sure at plate races.
They might have felt sorry for Priest too because he was.
Yeah, maybe they didn't want to
they
ruin
didn't
his
want him
day.
to flip
Thank
him.
God he didn't win.
Thank God he didn't win.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man.
But like for like if you had to pick a package like plate racing wise, would you lean more towards what we used to do, or do you enjoy this more?
The tandem.
Oh, that was the best.
The tandem was
that
the
was
best.
fun.
best.
As crazy as that was,
It was the worst
as-
to spot, but it was the best.
the spotters didn't even have to
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
Only one guy had a spot.
When you
for
guys
both
could talk to
cars.
each
When
other.
we could talk to
you
each
didn't
other.
need it. You didn't need
Yeah.
it.
That'd be perfect.
It
Let's
was
go
like,
back to that.
Hey, Mark, it's Kyle. Yeah, man, I got you. Let's go.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Brad,
You know?
Brad and Blaney used to be teammates, right? And finally, Brad came over the radio because I was up top. He goes, "Tommy, we got it. Like we don't need anybody. Just
You're right. Yeah, I remember it was me and Logano for a while through that stretch. Logano and I, because Denny didn't like him, but me and Logano, we would do it together at JGR, and then we made it work most days. So
Well, you ready for a little spot on, spot
Yeah, I
off,
think
or
so.
you
I
got
don't
anything
remember.
else?
I don't remember what we news from last week. Rodney leaving.
Yeah.
is pretty big news. I don't know. That just never seemed like a fit for me. I don't know why. It just kind of. I don't know.
I think he was the hot commodity on the market, and everybody was going for him and gunning for him. I know 4 teams that were talking to him, and then he landed at Spire, and then it just never seemed to really materialize. I don't know. There's just some sort of chemistry imbalance there. Not sure why or what, but Rodney's a super, super smart guy, really talented. Maybe keeps it to himself a little bit more than what we're used to
nowadays, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so, that's sort of that old school factor.
It's a hard thing to get out of because, when a person that has that much into it all the years, they developed a lot of it themselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to get out of that niche of opening up, right? I got a different theory on that. It's just he's really good at calling races, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a lot of positives. I don't know if they made the right choice. I don't. Yeah, was not part of what the clique or what was being done, but you know what? Let's find the strengths, right? He's not. They were getting better, right? The last 3 or 4 races they were finishing.
They did, yeah.
So it was something was starting to work. Obviously, something was starting to click, but I don't know, man. It's you know yourself. Finding good people and people that know what to do is hard to find, man.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he'll end up in a good spot. Obviously, we're all getting old, right? And he's not going to be the guy that's going to climb underneath the car and build him anymore, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think one of his strong niches, and obviously he's a very well-paid guy, which probably would have been overpaid, but working on those trucks and tuning them trucks and dialing those things in and finding the little nicks and tricks that go with the trucks to make the trucks faster could have been something. But obviously, it just something else going on.
Yeah,
but you can't get caught either. You can't be Priest or Logano
Yeah.
going through tech after the race is over either. So
Yeah. Well, the 7 failed twice in tech.
This week, yeah. I saw that, got ejected.
issues.
Good
Well-
news is Rodney's going to end up in a good spot because I think he's coming here next week.
Yeah, so we'll be able to talk about
we'll
it.
be asking
There you
about
go.
it.
I was breaking. I forget whose chops I was breaking.
Everybody's?
No,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
thought. I said. I think what happened was Dickerson flew to Dallas and met with that general manager of the Mavericks and said, "Man, how can I up a race team?" and the general manager said, "You know what? I think you should get rid of that crew chief." I think
That Mavericks deal is something else. But anyway.
All right. We ready? Spot on, spot off?
Sure.
It was reported that NASCAR offered teams a run what you brung style race for North Wilkesboro, but teams weren't for it. Spot on, spot off, Mr. Competition Director Tommy.
Well, spot on for us not doing it because it would have opened up the cost of. You got to give NASCAR credit because they do a really good job of making us spend money to come up with things that they can implement, right? I mean, it sounds weird, but that's what they do. So, like the tires, right? Last year, the softer tires, right? And doing all the things. It didn't cost us any money, but you know what? Let's try it. The All-Star Race is made for us to try things, do different things, to come up with some ideas to make our sport better. I think this was probably a little bit more than what we all wanted because we would have had to spend a lot of money doing things, trying things to make it work. And I think it would have opened up a bigger window, yes, for us to work on the cars at the end, which I know you would like, right? But the cost factor, it's already too much money. These cars are way too expensive as it is.
I thought they were saving money.
No.
all right, I disagree with you. So am I spot on or spot off?
You're-
On
you
this?
go ahead. You'd be spot off.
You'd be spot off because
Yeah,
they
you're
weren't
spot
for
off.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be spot off because they weren't because the teams weren't for it.
Yeah, I was for it. Like I thought this could kind of be that something to see. This car's short track. It hurts.
Challenged.
Right? It is short track challenged. Thank you. And so we need to find something, ideas. Somebody brings something to the plate that we could actually try to help this thing. And so if somebody goes out there and waxes the field, then it's like, okay, what?
But what could have been the things? Like,
I don't know. Like
that's what I'm saying.
I think they were wide open to anything. Like,
yeah, but there's nothing.
to my understanding is I heard they were going to allow opening the motors. I heard that it was going to be take the floors off if you want, add wickers if you want, like do all this stupid stuff or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know where you finally draw the line on that. So I kind of get the team's perspective of it, but I think somebody needs somehow to figure out how to make this thing race at a short track better. Why are we running the high downforce package at Bristol?
I don't know.
Why? Why do we have that? We have a short track
We treat
package.
Bristol like it's not a short track. I don't
Right,
understand.
why? What are we doing?
I'm 100% with you on the horsepower thing because I think that's controlling a lot of. No,
The tires are too good. They don't fall off.
Yeah, I mean, back when Jeff Burton won New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
With the restrictor plate.
Yeah. What did we prove? We
What-
proved that the same guy can lead 300 laps and win the race with
And
lower
everybody-
power.
Right. So we need horsepower. We
Yeah.
need softer tires.
You need guys that can blow through the tires
and
and slide out
understand
of the
it.
groove
Right.
and make mistakes and things like
Right.
that and hurt themselves by overdriving, right?
Yeah, and then the engine guys complain because then they say, well, it's going to cost the teams more money. And then they go to the teams and they're going to say, well, it's another $1 million for our engine program because we have to run higher RPMs.
Is it though? Because the same dollar figure
That's what I
has
always
been
thought.
paid to the engine shop for the last 15 years.
Exactly. So this is this is unfortunately the problem we have in our
Right.
industry.
Yeah, more
right?
horsepower is more money. No,
Yeah.
it's not. You
Yeah.
guys are still charging the same dollar.
So this is the issue that we have internally
Yeah.
from a team perspective. And, I still believe in today's world, the Truck Series is probably the best product for the money with the Ilmore engine and stuff that they're doing there.
Which is funny because that's gone up too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was surprised the other day when I was looking at some prices.
Yeah.
For what reason?
The hell if I know.
Because you have no choice. You have to buy them.
Yeah.
But true.
I thought it was interesting. Gluck was pretty adamant about this last night. Did you see his rant at all?
I saw a little bit of it,
Gluck
yeah.
was going off, MFing people and call
Him?
people. Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. He
About
was
what?
going
Wow.
about team style. He said, I wish teams would just shut the F up and
About what?
spend the money. Just spend the money.
Oh,
you
yeah,
got
yeah.
enough
Yeah,
money.
Just
Yeah.
spend the
Gluck's-
money.
yeah.
There's enough money going around
I
in
bet
this
that's
sport.
some. I bet that's some when he buy his dinner.
For me, I think another part of the thing was, I don't know how long they've been talking about this, but it's kind of short notice. How much time do you have to develop something if it's, 2 months or 3 months down the road of, whatever. And where are you going to test it at?
We're not testing it.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why it's run what you brung.
Run what you brung.
And I think I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, but I just think that, to open up and say you're going to spend money on whatever you want for a race that only pays one spot, right? I think just the winner gets paid.
No, you get paid.
Does everybody get paid throughout the whole field?
Yeah, but it's
not the Open, the All-Star race, yes, but not. And it's a decent paying race.
I mean, it's been $1 million for
ever
23 years, I think. It is
ever.
Yeah.
There's no inflation with the All-Star.
No inflation
race.
with the All-Star. No,
that doesn't exist over there. So I don't know. I think I kind of more side with the teams just for the fact that it would. We always say on here, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, and
maybe morph it a little bit. Maybe there's 10 or 15 rules in the rule book. We're going to cross those out this week. Go play.
And I know you're with me. I rather see us be able to practice with using more of our tools. Mm-hmm. Right? Wouldn't you love to make a spring change?
Absolutely,
right?
no question. Right? Yeah.
I would love to see. Look, same deal under the officials' eyes, right? Because we're only allowed to jack the car at one side at a time. But I think we need to be able to use our tools more, be able to make changes, because the sim will be off at times, right? You're going to want.
Plenty of times.
I was going to say,
you're going to want to make. You're going to want to make. I mean, how many weekends have you?
I'd rather not do sim and show up and have an hour of practice and be able to change anything I need to change on my car to make it go better.
Exactly,
Yeah.
I think that would probably help the racing a little bit too. I mean, I think it would.
Yeah. It would help my racing.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just give me all the gimmicks for the All-Star race, Karsyn.
Now,
do you just not like the sim, Kyle? Do you use it, or what do you?
Problem is it's built by humans, right? So when there's the human error that's in it, and then you rely on what it is, and you go to the racetrack and it doesn't correlate, it's like throw it out.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have it.
Right.
Yeah, we went this year. The perfect example this year was it Coda?
Coda.
Yeah, Coda.
How many?
We were
everybody.
second
Left field.
off the
It wasn't even close.
Seconds off the pace. Yeah. But what was funny about that is we had the 25 minutes of practice. Our first practice, we were so loose, out of control, 2.5 seconds off the pace. We come in, we sling everything we can at it in order to try to get it better. We go out for the second session. We're much closer, and I'm like, okay, let's, I'm not telling them what to do, but I'm just like, I need this, and this more. And so they make more changes in order to get it close. I qualify 8th, and I'm like, man, I feel pretty good about that. Like, if I can race that and have that pace in the race, I'm going to be okay. And I go out and I go forward. I drove all the way to the front, got the lead past SVG. Thank you.
Yeah.
At a road course. And then, we're on pace to win that thing, barring that yellow that came out. But thanks, Denny. And so
Denny's taking a beating on this show so far.
And anyways, that was our first
worry,
legit
Freddie.
shot
Not
to
yet.
win the race.
Oh, yeah,
and we
yeah.
had
Freddie will get
practice,
it in
right?
later.
Yeah.
We had practice,
Yeah,
and that was our
we're-
legit shot, our best legit shot this year so far to win a race. So.
Yep.
All right, more All-Star Race BS. This year's All-Star Race will include a promoter's caution, which allows Marcus Smith and Speedway Motorsports to throw a caution between laps 101
Oh yeah,
and
let's ask
220.
Kyle. Ask Kyle.
We used to do this all the time when Kyle was leading. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It was either Kyle leading or Dale was in the lucky dog spot. We would have these promoters cautions.
Yeah.
Spot on, spot off, Kyle.
Spot off. What are we doing? If we're Bailey and Barnum, then let's just freaking call it Bailey and Barnum. I mean, they went out of business. We know that, right?
Yeah, it's the thing for me is if we're gonna go this way, let's go all out. I mean, let's just don't give it to Marcus. Don't let NASCAR. Just put a fan. Pick a drunk fan in the grandstands. Put him in the flag stand with a yellow flag.
Have him spin a wheel.
and tell him just tell him anytime after lap 100 you get to throw that yellow flag. Whatever.
Drink
you want.
6 beers
You got to drink
first.
them.
No.
Chug a beer.
No, the guy's got to drink a beer every 10 laps, and when he falls over, the yellow comes out.
Yeah, we
There
can
we
do
go.
that.
That is content. All right.
There we go. There's their entertainment
it's
factor
just,
that they're looking for.
It's
Maybe Freddie.
yeah. I mean, why
He's a
not?
No,
great-
he's on the.
He's on a 1 week cleanse.
Oh, yeah?
1 week.
That's
I was
is
in
this your
Ireland.
sugar cleanse
Because
right
I was
here?
there for that's
trying to
that's
sober
club
up from
soda.
Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland did enough damage. I don't need to drink anymore this week. But I mean, it's just honestly, if they're, I don't know if they're trying to make this better because all they're going to do is throw a yellow. We're going to re-rack and we're not going to be able to pass each other. So I don't know what the difference is. But if they want to make it better, add 20 cars to the field instead of yellows because if we have more traffic, I think that last race would have been better if we had more traffic and guys. That's the only time to pass. If your car was a little bit better, you might be be able to get a guy because he's stuck behind a lap car or something like that. But I think just throwing a yellow with 25 to go, you're just going to re-rack and be harder to pass.
Well, why don't we throw that promoter's caution, and then he decides how many cars get to go race left hands and how many cars get to go race right hands.
Tony Stewart.
You know what I think?
Love that. All-time greatest interview ever.
Yeah, that was one of the best.
And coming off of Talladega, it so fits this conversation.
Yeah.
I think, what they need to do is just have like 7 or 8 sets of red tires there, and then like you just throw a caution with
open up the horsepower.
Just throw a caution with 10 to
and
go.
give us soft and let us go,
if
man.
you want an exciting race, just throw a caution with 10 to go and tell the last 5 guys on the lead lap, you get a set of reds and go and see what happens. Just try to bust through the field in 10 laps. If you want, if that's the only way you're going to get past it.
If they want to try something,
do you sandbag, or are you one of the guys
that's
that
want
to get the reds?
Do you think that would be strategy? Like, can I get through the field on reds? Can I come from 15th in 10 laps, or do I want to be the guy leading trying to defend? Like, if you want to have gimmicks, let's go all out. Like,
you just said it. Like, it's a gimmick. We're gimmicking. Like, why are we gimmicking into good racing? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Moving on. Okay. NASCAR throws the caution on the final lap of the Xfinity Series
Freddie.
race after Jesse Love made contact with Connor Zilic. NASCAR used cameras to determine that Austin Hill was the race winner. Spot on, spot off. Fredward.
They're in a no-win situation. No matter what they do, half the fan base is going to be here because their guy didn't win or whatever. But in my mind, if they don't throw the yellow there, everybody's at him because Connor tattooed the wall. He could be hurt. They need to get the safety equipment there. If they throw the yellow, they ruin the end of the race. Everybody's about that. So I think personally, I don't know why you couldn't just send the safety equipment to Connor and stay green. I don't know their protocols, if there's something in their rule book against that, because the field has gone by. He's right there against the inside wall.
Right now, if I'm race control, I'm like,
send them.
Yeah. Safety 2, go. Safety 2, go.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the radio to the spotters saying, spotters after the flag, slow down.
Yep.
Yeah. But then obviously.
I don't know how. I don't know why. A single car accident, yes, like I get it. And there was only one other car coming. I think it was Brandon Jones or something because he was backward. But my opinion, I've been in a wreck like that, and I've hit the fence a ton at Daytona, and obviously you don't know if a guy's injured or not. I mean, that was a brutal lick. But regardless, like, you can send safety. Final lap. That's my opinion. It's a single car wreck. Like, let them race it out back to the line. As you said, they're in a no-win situation. I get it. Optics is probably a lot of everything that people see, so you've got to be ready to react to the optics. And so they've been harped on a lot this year for throwing the yellows.
Or not throwing the yellow.
Or not throwing the yellows.
I think that's the biggest thing is the consistency, and I think they're trying to trend in the direction of throwing the yellow right now just for the safety factor of it.
I think they did it because you so much. A caution's a caution. That's all we heard from you weeks ago. A caution.
If there should not be
if a spin's a spin, there should be a caution.
Yes,
well,
tire falls, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they did what you asked.
I'm saying that they're right. If that's the way they're going to, I don't care which way they go, as long as they continue to go that way.
Right.
And listen, I know that's just half the fan. Like I said, half the fan base is pissed off. The only way to stop this, the only way to combat this, is something that I don't think any of us want, and it's eliminating the white flag rule and making it so the leader has to take the checker flag. But we would still be there racing right now if that was the case, because we just have green white checker after green white checker. So what do you want? I don't think I'm of the opinion, like, I don't want any green white checkers. Like, just end the race whenever the hell the race is supposed to end.
Or is the winner whoever led at the white?
Taking the white. Yeah, but so much happens, especially these places. I think you either got to continue to do it the way you do it, or just eliminate the rule and say we're finished, like ARCA. ARCA's just, they're kind of a show, but they're gonna, which I don't know what I thought they always finished under checker, but the other night they finished. Did they just call it for time or something? I don't know what it was, because they finished on a wreck.
Green white, right?
Yeah, I think so. So I guess maybe they just took the white, but I think even ARCA, maybe, I don't know.
I thought it was multiple times.
I thought they always finished under checker, but that's the only way to just eliminate this completely, and I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Wow. Okay.
Thomas, would you have any opinion? I don't know.
I'm with you. Caution's a caution. I mean, but it's on the last lap, and there's no harm, no foul to the rest of the world. And they already, like what Kyle said, they can say safety, go out and get them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that could have easily stayed green, and
they would have got that
either way, no matter what they did.
All right, moving on. The Toyota cars abandoned the fuel saving strategy during the race on Sunday. Spot on, spot off, Tommy.
Yeah, I thought it was probably something that somebody needed to try. It didn't work.
Did not work.
You know, when that group pitted.
That's like pulling out a line thinking that you're going to make a move to win the race and you finish last.
Yeah.
Like, why? If the rest of the field's going to stay true to the strategy, what are you doing?
Yeah, and when 3 or 4 of the Toyotas at the end of stage 2 pitted early there and got good track position to lead, they were still light on fuel. I didn't know. I felt that at that point they were going to try to drag the whole field into just running wide open, but not everybody had to run wide open to stay with them.
They shouldn't have been light on fuel because they came back and topped off.
No, they took the lead at the end of that stage.
I know, but I'm saying they still came down pit road. They pit right before the stage ended, and then came back for fuel.
No, they took the lead. The 11.
They came off. They pitted. I promise you.
Oh, they did?
They came down pit road. They came down pit road and topped off.
Oh, okay.
But obviously they needed less fuel than everybody. They just topped off from last, but needed much less fuel than everybody else. So they cycled to the lead. They come off pit road. They gained 30 spots or something like that. Or 20 spots.
I was
but
in my
but still,
computer
it's just,
at the time.
It was
a little busy.
It was just let's go for it and see what happens. You know.
I mean, I think the biggest that group had was when they all pitted during the third stage, they weren't as fast as they thought they were as a group compared to the pack.
And that was
they were legitimately half a second off for 7 laps, I think, 6, 7 laps.
I don't know how much different it would have been, but the big thing there was the 77 cycled to the front of our line, and he was leading versus just the line of Toyotas leading. I don't know how much faster we would have went, or have they felt we were going to be faster, but we gave up. We ended up giving up time to the pack, and then we just once
you
that
guys were like
happens,
90s and 50 flats, where we were still running 60s at the time, and it was
so. It's just I thought it was executed as well as it could be.
Yeah.
You know, we did everything we were supposed to do, and it just didn't work out. And I don't, everybody was about Ross's block. For one, he didn't do anything wrong. That's kind of what you want to do. You want to cause chaos. You want to stall that pack out as much as you can. But even if we got by Ross clean, we weren't driving to the lead by any means. Everybody else was already formed up and kind of going, so we would have been mid-pack at best. So just a plan that took a shot and it didn't work, and come back to the drawing board and try it again. But I thought it was fun to just see something different and try to shake things up a little bit, because some guys up there on the roof were like, "Where the hell are you guys going? What are you doing?" And they're like, "There's crew chiefs trying to react. Should we do? Should we continue to save? Should we try to match pace with them?" I think ultimately we were hoping that they would not match pace or have to run harder to match our pace, and it seemed to me like they were still able to save and hang on the back of us to where we couldn't put a gap on them, and that's kind of what the ultimate downfall was, just the ability to still save fuel and maintain pace with us, basically.
Hey, it's Dale Jr., and for the latest DBC gear, we need you to go to shop.dirtymomedia.com. We've got plenty of options, and we're adding new stuff all the time. Shop.dirtymomedia.com.
Let's get into some reaction theater, where fans can call in and voice their opinions from this weekend's race. You can call in 704-802-9572. I'm sure we'll have a lot of Blaney fans with toasters and things this week.
Blaney did have a Blaney. Ever since Blaney came on this show, it's been tough for him.
It's like the only person that's had opposite.
That doesn't translate.
There were a lot of upset Blaney fans.
Doesn't Cindric's ass look like Blimpy? What a cartoon, high-pitched mother Ford.
All right.
Big Ford guy right there. I didn't even
Must
know.
be a Toyota fan.
I didn't even know who. What is that? Blimpy? Blinky? What is it? I saw a picture of him. Somebody said it, and Austin does look
Blippy.
exactly Blippy. He looks exactly like this guy.
They may as well just rename this Talladega race the Mia Khalifa 500 for how much this finish sucked. Where's the toaster?
Oh boy, it's funny that everybody knows who she is.
Who doesn't?
Who?
Yeah.
Explain.
No, I don't know. It's just
You don't?
I don't know. Tommy definitely doesn't.
I don't pay attention.
Ask your kids.
There's no chance.
Ask your
All your
kids.
kids do. Yeah. When you go home,
Yeah.
ask them who she is. Right in front of Beth while you're at it.
No.
No, you just got back in good graces with that.
She just started talking to me again.
Goddamn, can I get a mixed sandwich with some mixed mayonnaise and a mixed toaster? Blaney! God damn son of a...
Who needs therapy when you have reaction
Yeah.
theater?
Yeah.
This, Blaney's fans. Boy, we have a lot of Blaney fans around here.
I feel a lot more normal.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
gonna
Turns
say
out the
the
whole fan
beginning-
base is just like us.
Come on, Fox. What's up with today? I went and got my snacks, my drinks, sit down. I wanted to watch 4 hours of straight commercials. What do you all keep doing?
keep putting this dumb NASCAR race right in the middle of my commercials.
Bro, 2 Wendy's commercials with under 8 to go? I may never have a Baconator ever again. I could give a double list about a cheeseburger when we're at Talladega with under 10 to go.
I'm stealing
Well, not much
that.
happened. So.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, they know they can go to commercial because nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's happening.
Once we're 2 by 2 with 10 to go, nobody's going anywhere.
It's whoever pays the most for those spots because everybody's going to tune in at the end for the action.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
And I think that it wasn't full screen. I don't know who watched it. I think it was still a side-by-side commercial. So it wasn't like it was gone. But yeah, there's nothing. They know, they're smart enough to know that, well, when they're 2 by 2 like this with 10 to go, they're just going to stay like this until maybe something happens on the last lap. Somebody spins somebody out. But yeah, I promise you weren't going to miss much.
Well, son of a, I swear to God, when this damn race comes on, the wife tells me, well, honey, if Kyle Busch will win the race, I'll give you a little something tonight. Damn!
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it, Kyle. If you don't get back in victory lane soon, I'm probably never going to see sexual relations with my wife again. Please help me.
You're under a lot of pressure.
Is that the
now.
same guy, just a different voice?
Yeah, he's having problems, man.
I mean, did you know what was weighing on this next
win?
win?
You have a lot of things, and I bet you that's the first thing you're going to think about next time you win.
Yeah, my man's getting laid.
Shout out to all those DVC
Rowdy
fans.
Nation fans are getting lucky tonight. Hell yeah, let's do it. For Rowdy Nation.
Poor Rowdy Nations. Got blue balls.
Everyone's hurting, man. You better win a race.
Oh my God, no kidding.
You know how much pressure you're on?
Yeah,
I wonder how they feel.
Week.
I wonder how they feel about Millbridge. Can I get a little something from Millbridge?
Can we bring SRX back? I went 2 for 2 in that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to leave an audio message 24/7, you can call our number at 704-802-9572, and we'll play the best ones each week on the show.
Did you see Graves' tweet last night? Where is it? Pull it up on the screen here. I'll read it. The team
and Scott, tee up the
put this tripod in front of the monitor. By the way, this team works so hard every week. Had our driver in position for the end of stage 1, and the guys who consider themselves some of the best drivers in the world can't even get through a restart. I see why you have insurance as a sponsor, Denny Hamlin. Can I file a claim? It's Graves guy got wrecked when Denny dumped Bell there, and I thought that was really funny last night because I told Tommy beforehand, like, I don't know Scott really well, but.
Wait, is that the crew chief of the 17?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Who never says a word. Yeah.
Who never says. First I read it, I thought it was Andy Graves. I was like, God damn, Andy's going after Denny. This is tough. And then I saw it was Scott. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that would come out of Scott Graves, but that was
He's a dry, witty guy.
Twitter was lit up last night between Scott Graves, Bubba was throwing some jabs. Chipper Jones was all night, which I didn't even know Chipper was a huge NASCAR fan. But he said he grew up just outside of Daytona, so he's a big fan, and he was going on all night about Logano. And then he was tweeting about Logano. Then when Logano got DQ'd, he was celebrating that Logano got DQ'd. It was
so he's not a Logano fan.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
It is now time for Ask DBC, and you can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC. Brandon would like to know, what did you guys think of Cletus finishing top 10 in the ARCA race, and is he ready to go full time?
Cup racing, just send it right to Cup.
Right to Cup. Go. Dude.
I mean, why not?
I mean, did you see his talent?
If you got the money, go.
Go.
I mean, the guy finished, just as just a sure testament to ARCA, he finished 10th in the ARCA race, won 7 cylinders at Talladega.
Yeah.
So,
how many cars did finish?
Yeah, I'd probably 8 if I had to guess.
I think we're going to see a lot of Cletus next year.
I think so too, and why not? I mean, the guy moves the needle a lot. Him and now he's got like his little cohort Biffle that goes everywhere with him.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah,
I thought going from Charlotte through what's that called, Dragon's Tail or whatever, down to Talladega isn't that out of the way? Aren't you going out through Boone?
Yeah.
So you're going north to go south?
Yeah, you know, Biffle, he's got plenty of time.
I mean, retired world, I guess, but that was pretty funny.
No, it's amazing to see how many people, like, you know, they had their little setup on the boulevard and people just flocked to it all weekend. I think they ended up auctioning off all the RVs they drove down there. But then even like, you know, how often do you even see an ARCA driver in a press conference? And he was in every press conference. I felt like he got interviewed all day Saturday or Friday, Saturday, whenever the hell they raced. You know, he moves the needle. He gets, I mean, there was over a million followers or listeners for the stuff he did here with Dale. So I mean, it's just, I mean, the guy puts eyes on our sport, and there's nothing. And he's not a bad race car driver either. I mean, he hasn't really got a chance to show it because he got wrecked at Daytona and he got had motor problems this week. But I don't have any problems with him as long as he kind of goes through the same approval process of everybody else, which God knows what that looks like.
He's already at the 2 mile track. He's
cleared.
Yeah, he's good. He's good to go.
It's over.
He can run whatever he wants now.
We're going to be seeing a lot of him next year.
I
Trust
hope
me.
so.
All right, show Hall of Fame. What kind of shows did you guys witness this
So
week?
I'll let you guys go first because I got one from Ireland that's gonna top everything, I think. But
The Xfinity Race Big Hit won last week.
The Xfinity Race Big Hit won last week.
Well, not last week.
I don't even know what it was.
What was that?
That was 2 weeks ago. I don't even know.
I forgot. I already forgot.
It was
Where were we?
Brennan pool crash. I think.
From Bristol. Okay, yeah. Do you got any shows, Tom?
I tried watching the last 40 laps of the Spring Sizzler modified race on the plane and took.
That was a show?
Oh my God, crazy.
Did you have any shows in your weekend, Kyle?
Yeah, about the last 20 minutes of the race.
Right about the time they keyed up and said we have a speeding penalty with Stan.
Yeah, that was it. That was my. That was
the
my
worst
feeling
in the world to hear that.
How does it feel? You break because Bubba tells me about this all the time. Like you're close. And like how many times do you even know you're close and you don't get that call? But like you're close and then you hear the button key up and you're like, before they even say a word, you're like, yep, it's coming.
On that one, it was like, yeah, it's coming. Like I'm not even, I don't have anxiety about this one. I know it's happening, but there's so many other times where you're coming off pit road and you're like, you saw that one blue light extra and you're like, oh man.
Please no,
like,
please no.
Yeah, you're praying to God. You're like, maybe they miss it. Maybe they miss it.
They don't miss it.
And on the roof, like obviously we're the ones that have to relay it because NASCAR's, calling it out over the radio. So you'll go through a pit cycle and then like, it's always the same timing. It's usually like off of 2, wherever you're at, they'll key up. And as soon as they key up, you're like, who is it? Who is
but
it?
What's crazy though is like I had one at Vegas this year, and we are in line. We've already chosen, and we are coming to the green, and they go, 8 car too fast on pit road. You got to drop to the back, and we're like, we already chose. When were you guys going to tell us? Like, what are we doing? How did you just find this now? What's going on?
That happened recently too with I think Jonesy was. Is it Darlington maybe? Like it was whether or not he made the pit light or what, and he drove through, and same thing. We're coming to green, and we've already chose. We're 2x2, and they're like, get the 43 to the back, and I'm like, well, you can't do that now. Now you hold shoes up, like. Right. So then they start moving him back, and then now we're off of 4. They go, all right, hold on, no, he's good now. He's good. Put him back in there. So he goes back up in there, and he ended up like it was all up. But I don't like it's something like that happens. What is so hard about?
The red dot,
the yellow, throw the yellow, like just re-choose, like even if it's a late call, whatever it is, but they can get in their own way sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, the pressure of having to maximize all that for positions nowadays, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, when you're passing people on the racetrack is one thing. That's hard to do. And now you've got these pit crews that are blasting 8-second pit stops all the time. So your roll time on pit road is imperative, and I'll toot my own horn for a second. I've been number 1 on rolling speeds for the last 5 years, but I probably do come off with the most penalties. What do the penalties equate to? How many positions have you actually gained throughout the year? I don't know that we have a study on that yet, but I feel pretty good about when there are weeks where you come off, rolling number 1 and you finish good with that.
We talk about that even with like Larson, like people are like, oh, he just steps on it and spins out all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because he's the guy that's willing to go the furthest. Like he's making those mistakes because he is going one step further than everybody else is willing to go. Most of the time it works out for him. Sometimes it doesn't. That's
Most of the time it works out for him. With the old car, it worked out a hell of a lot more for me. I'll tell you that.
We've heard, I've heard you say that a lot of times. And what do you equate that to? Just, I know these things, everybody talks about these things being on a knife edge and it's really can't, but there's multiple people that have said they just can't really get, not that they can't get the grasp of the new car, but like new car versus old car. How much different is it?
I feel it's got to be something to do with the tire. I feel like, the 18-inch wheel now with the shorter sidewall, like you have less sidewall flex. So that sidewall flex, you don't really feel as much as you could with the old, taller sidewall where you can get into the tire more and you could actually roll that thing and you could go past the level of slip a little bit and then you can kind of catch it back. Now it's like when you get past that moment of grip into slip, it's gone. Like there's so much of a bigger transition of getting that grip back that it's just, that razor's edge is so far gone that you just don't get it back. I feel like that's what really made your money as a driver with the old car, where you could drive it past its limit and still be under control with it. You could find that edge of being in control over the edge. And now it's like once you get to that edge and you fall over it, it's gone. It's like falling off a cliff.
And that's odd, because the amount of talent and times we've seen you completely sideways over the years.
Yeah.
You think the opposite, right? You think you would. That makes sense with the sidewall, though. For
Well,
sure.
like there's a video of me from Kentucky, I think it was one of the repaves there, and I come off a turn 2 and I am just dead sideways to the world, and somehow I catch it and I come out of it and I'm like straight to the garage. You know, this new car, you're pulling out the backup.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're done with practice for the day. You're starting last for the race, and so it's just a whole different thing right now.
How refreshing is it for you to jump in that Xfinity car every once in a while?
Nobody's calling.
Nobody?
Like, nothing.
I know you drove. I know. I say you drove the Kaulig car. Like,
I drove the Kaulig car 2 years
ago.
ago. Last year I ran Charlotte. I led laps at Charlotte with RCR in a 33 car, and we just kept getting looser and looser through the day, even though we were trying to adjust for tighter. And we faded. I think Chase won that race. They saved a set for the last yellow, which I think was 15 to go, and he drove through everybody and won. But yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of Xfinity races. But the truck starts. I'm hoping that we can win
all of them.
It would be nice. It'd be nice to win all of them. So I'm relying on Brian. Brian, fix that thing. Let's get that baby rolling. Let's go.
So I don't want to tee it up too much. This is Andrew. You got it ready to go?
I have it.
All right. This is a real voicemail from the concierge of the hotel we were staying at. This was sent to Duggar while we were in Ireland last week. So go ahead, Andrew.
Hello, Mr. Duggar. This is just calling from the front desk of the hotel with a response to your query earlier at the reception desk. As you requested, I have not reported this to management, but just to liaise with you to describe the problem and what exactly had happened. With regards to the flatulence issue in the concierge room, we would just like to assure you that the concierge room is not used as a flatulence centre. No personal bodily emissions are emitted there. This was a sewage issue, so the smell of fecal matter was a result of that rather than, as I said, an issue of flatulence. Thank you, and if you have any further questions or anything you need to report to the management, please don't hesitate to do so. Thank you very much.
What?
Wow.
So we're out, and we got to Dublin. There's a hotel in Dublin, so we got to Dublin early, so we weren't able to check into our room yet. So we were like, "Do you have somewhere we can put our bags while we go? Kind of walk around town, go to a couple of bars and stuff." So Duggar and his wife Tara put their bags in the concierge room. And then we come back to the hotel later, and they go get them. And I guess I had gone to the room already, and Duggar was standing at the desk trucking in, and Tara came down and said something like, "I don't know, it smells like somebody farted in there, or something." Just it smelled like in the room where the luggage was. Okay. Yeah. So she tells us to Duggar while he's checking in. Well, the guy at the desk overhears her, and he's like, "Oh my God, ma'am, I'm so sorry that this happened to you guys. I will report this to management right away." And they're like, No. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it's okay. It'll be fine. And he's like, No, I'm going to report this to management. So then whatever, we forget about it. And then we're out, and 10 o'clock that night, this phone call comes in, and Duggar's like, "You're not going to believe the voicemail I just got." And now we're giving Tara like, "Way to go. You got this poor guy fired. Whoever the concierge is got fired for farting in the concierge room." But when we got that voicemail that night, I was crying laughing.
See, with that in my mind, with you and with our people, I was thinking completely a whole nother way of what happened and what you did, and the position you were in, and how much you were drinking. I could just imagine that you couldn't find a bathroom.
Yeah,
and
I
you
was
went
like, somebody
to the
took
store.
in there.
Yeah, and you just,
Well, I'm glad that, and maybe it was. Maybe who knows with Tara? She gets a little wild. But
So
I'm
this
glad.
had nothing to do with you.
I was not even there for this. This was just
allegedly.
I'm never there.
He's never there.
Never there.
Yeah, he's not on the roof either.
I'm a saint when it comes to anything in the world. But I got to give a shout out to our driver Brian too. He's a listener of the podcast. He's been driving Duggar around forever. Brian Dowling chauffeurs. If you go to Ireland, call this guy up. He'll take you everywhere you want to go, set up everything you want to set up, and he was amazing for us last week. But that trip was something else, a show all on its own. But that phone call coming through the first or second night we were there was probably the damn highlight of the whole thing. So I don't know. Tara, the people won't vote on that because they won't hear about it. So what else is ARCA race was? I mean, it was a show. I mean, I saw who won, Lawless Allen. So, I mean, it was
So it must have been a show.
I don't even watch it.
I didn't watch it either. I was in the care center taking a drug test when the end of the race was going. So,
I would say the only show thing I experienced this weekend was I've had a lot of things happen in Victory Lane, but this weekend I had to clean throw up off of a child.
Who was it?
It wasn't your child. It wasn't your child, Tommy. It was not.
Whose child was it?
It was late model stock Victory Lane, and the crew chief's wife had the baby, like a little baby, and then there's a little toddler standing in front of the baby. Baby starts yakking, and I'm not talking like
this is
milk,
not a little bit,
like chunks, and it's red, and the little girl starts to freeze, and she's like freaking out, and I can see the panic in her eyes, and I'm like, everyone's looking around for like something to get. Well, shout out Hoosier, because I get these towels from them to wipe off the door when they spray the champagne.
Go with the little choker.
Yeah.
First wrapping around a kid's mouth.
No. So I get these little towels that I can like wipe the champagne off the door with so they can stick the wind sticker. And I'm like, all right. So I grab these and the little girl's just looking at me with fear in her eyes. And the parents are just standing there. The mom's got the baby. The baby's still throwing up. I'm cleaning throw up off of this kid. And I'm just like, what choices have I made in my life that led me to this exact moment?
Listen, I got news for you. That's probably not the first time you've had to clean throw up. So
from a small child, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to probably put Jesse Love and Connor on there. Guy tried to kill his best friend. You might as well mention that.
In their Twitter beef afterwards.
Were they beefing?
Well, like joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even remember. There's nothing really in the cup race. I guess Denny dumping Bell maybe.
God, can we fix the wall, please?
Jesus.
How many times do we have to hit that thing to figure
every
it out?
time.
What do you want? What do you want fixed?
The turnout.
Okay.
It just needs to be straight.
Yeah, we find it every time.
It just needs to be straight. It needs to overlap with the inside one. It's not that hard. Why are we turning it out?
Yeah. And like we say this all the time.
Somebody finds that every year.
Yeah, wherever the bad spot is to hit at any racetrack, we are going to find it. No matter what, at some point in the weekend, somebody's going to find it.
So what are we narrowing our
I would say
down to?
Jesse and them, the voicemail. You can throw Denny on there just so people can vote Denny. They don't like him.
They don't like him.
That's about it, I guess. I don't know.
I'm surprised you haven't given your Denny speech yet today.
That's great.
Yep, there
That's
it
amazing.
is.
Kyle used to be great when I was truck racing. Kyle was great then too.
Used to be.
He was. I mean, he's always great, but he was signing my checks then, so he was even better.
All right. Well, remember to go vote on our Show Hall of Fame Twitter poll on who you want to see be inducted into the Show Hall of Fame this week. And DBC picks. Freddie, you won.
Damn right.
How about it?
Austin Cindric.
Are you saving your driver for another one?
Yeah. Well, I knew Austin was going to win that one, so I didn't.
Oh man,
waste it.
last.
I knew we just had a stage win this week. I usually pick us at Martinsville. That's usually my go-to for
Josh Berry.
Not Kansas?
Let me down tremendously.
I usually pick one of them other Toyotas at Kansas. But Kansas would be a good one.
was going to be a good one at one point.
I don't know where we go this week. You're in this, by the way. You got to.
Oh yeah,
pick
you get to
somebody.
pick with us.
You got to pick for the guest.
Texas, where we're going. You go. Wait.
I'm first.
Who goes first? Tommy goes first.
God almighty, I'm bad.
I don't know.
I'm going to go Larson.
There's a stretch.
There's a reach.
Well, I didn't pick him yet.
You can only pick everybody one time.
Yeah.
So, Karsyn.
Are you good at Texas?
He's got to pick himself.
I do need to pick myself. There's two in my
There's been
world.
two insider tratings so far.
I
with
know.
the guests, so
Yeah.
and they've won.
All right.
I don't know. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick Kyle Busch.
Oh, there you
Girl, I appreciate that.
Can't
All
pick
right.
himself now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rowdy
what?
Nation's getting lucky, right?
Yeah, we're helping out Rowdy Nation this
Anybody
weekend.
that's not highlighted, you can pick.
Anybody that's
It's
not
like anybody that's
highlighted?
not gray. Yeah.
So have I been picked, you're saying?
No,
I'm
she
saying
picked-
she picked you, so you can't pick
So
yourself.
yeah.
I can't pick myself
No,
now?
you can't pick yourself because
You
Karsyn.
took my
Sorry.
name off the
Karsyn
board?
blocked you.
Sorry.
All right. I know who to pick.
Just help me out, though.
I know who to pick. 45.
45. Tyler Reddick. He has not been picked. You're good.
All right.
I think, yeah. I will take. Have I picked him yet? I have picked him. Running out of Toyotas.
You're such a homer, dude.
Just pick who you
Try
want.
to win. No, I will pick.
Save your Toyota for next week.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take Bowman.
All right.
Going to Texas this week, Kyle. What do you look forward to going about? I mean, obviously,
Are we spraying or
that's
not
probably
spraying?
a loaded question for Texas.
Are we spraying or not
I have
spraying?
not heard yet.
I don't think we spray at Texas anymore.
How do you feel about? I mean, obviously, the reconfiguration has come under a lot of fire. It's
a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
There's a lot of racetrack out there in turn 1 and 2 that we just never even sniff throughout the weekend.
I mean, they did this. They did it with Kentucky, and they killed Kentucky with it. So like, I don't know why we repaved Texas, but I get it. It was the drainage issue, right?
Yeah, we had that one year where we were there all week.
It wouldn't dry.
Oh, it was like that from the.
I'm just saying that right before the repave is probably didn't help.
Probably not the most favorite racetrack on the circuit, but we got to go to Texas, and so we're going. So we're racing.
Come on, those are not the vibes I need for this. Come on.
Or for Rowdy Nation.
I mean, I won there.
You know how many people are going like, oh my God, another week.
I won on this configuration back the COVID year, 2020, I think it was, or whatever. So I won there. So we're good. We'll be fine. Yeah, let's go do it. Yeah.
Thomas, what do you got? Just one car, I assume, this week?
Yeah, we get, and then, I'll be in Monadnock, New Hampshire with Luke on Saturday, then in the War Room on Sunday. Monadnock, New Hampshire.
Monadnock. This is what we used to.
Yep.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Karsyn racing.
Ace Speedway this weekend.
Wednesday. No week for you.
Nope. This is our only back-to-back race this year.
I'm
Praise
talking
God.
about for Karsyn.
You racing?
Karsyn, you racing? Are you racing Millbridge Wednesday?
No. I got out of the micro ride. Carter's feeling better, so we don't race the go-kart again.
Do you fit in his seat?
Yeah, can you believe that?
For real?
We didn't move a thing. Did not move a thing. I was like a smidge tall for it,
guy?
but
yeah, no offense to her. I mean, she's a normal-sized girl, but like Carter is tiny.
Yeah, Carter's a 13-year-old little boy.
Yes.
Little Carter.
I mean, it wasn't probably
Carter.
the most comfortable configuration, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
You said you're going to Kansas with Brexton?
Yeah, well, Brexton runs Wednesday at Millbridge, and then we're going to Kansas as well. So we'll be at Millbridge on Wednesday.
Are you running Wednesday? Or
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
This is like just a whim
Maybe
on
I
a
will.
whim. Like,
Maybe I will.
Do I feel like bringing a car this week?
Yeah.
I gotta say,
Is it going to help me at Texas?
before you guys race against each other again at Millbridge, they've got to get some better parking. I was so pissed that night when I had to park all the way down the street and
felt
walk.
like-
I'm like, these race here every week.
I don't think there's any room for.
I watched. There is.
They have a whole place that they can't use though because of the county.
Yeah, the whole broadcast was basically like talking about Kyle and Brexton and then calling out license plates of people that need to move their car. If you drive a Ford Ranger with a license plate, you're over here. You please move your vehicle and back to the racing. That's fun. Yeah. So you're going just the tour race.
Tour race and drive all night back to the War Room for Sunday. What's Luke's plan late model racing? I know. So to talk about that, he won his first Cars Tour race. Late model race. Yeah,
so that was good.
Set fast time, new track record.
Rick Ware Racing late model.
Yeah, brand new Fury car we built. Tested with it Wednesday.
Did you crew chief that thing?
We tested with it Wednesday. Me and Troy did, and had a great plan. Troy's a really good crew chief, Troy Smith, and he ran good, man. He just a solid 10th, bedded in the field all day long. So I think he set the track record almost 3/10, right?
Yeah,
3/10.
Rick was there too. That was cool. I was glad he could be there.
He came from the drag strip, and I think he's gonna.
And then he went to Talladega after that.
Yeah,
Same
he was
day.
tired.
I saw an old guy in Victory Lane. I just assumed it was you, Jeff, and the crew chief, and I zoomed in. I was like, oh, that's Rick.
God, if I had Tommy, Jack, and Luke all in Victory Lane, I would have had my hands full.
The truck race at Kansas.
I thought it was a really good weekend for Flo. You know, like I watched Flo a lot this weekend, and
we had a lot of time.
Yeah, we did have time, plenty of time, not doing anything. That
is a show.
I show up and do 2 races. The
show Talladega schedule is the show for us.
The show. The
show.
Just,
2.5 days for one lap.
And it probably sounds funny to say this, but like I hate it. I hate just showing up and like a plate race is like, spotting a plate race is probably the toughest thing we do. Maybe not anymore with the package we run. It's just don't hit the guy in front of you. But showing up and just back in the day, no practice. you kind of use that practice to get in a little bit of a rhythm, or you use those other races if you're not doing the ARCA race or the Xfinity race. Like you kind of use those races to get prepared for just visually seeing runs, what you can see, sight lines and stuff like that, and then just go cold turkey. All right, let's go race. It's like, oh, all right, let's take me about 10 laps to get used to this. But yeah, for sure, I think we just that schedule there is I feel like a lot of dead time.
Show up on Sunday, inspect the cars, line them up by points because it don't matter by lap 10 anyway.
Yeah,
right. You're going to be where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Flo, how much? I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you subscribe to Flow. How much do you use that? I know a lot of guys, but I'm pretty good friends with Wyndham and Sunshine and them, and I see them guys watching as they're in line for the heat race or in line for qualifying. How much do you guys use that, especially at a dirt track, like seeing lines and trying to read the racetrack?
Yeah, I'd use that a lot. Like when we're at Tulsa Shootout or Chili Bowl or whatever, like I'm watching the 2-3 races ahead of time just to kind of see where the track's going, and then you're also looking at it to see where the water truck hits.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of thing in the dirt world that you really pay attention to on all that.
And how much do you think it's helped? I mean, for me, it's helped super late model racing across the country and making names for these Bubba Pollard. Back before 2020, I felt like we
didn't really have it.
You had to go to the races to see these guys,
right.
And now you could it helps the late model programs, the modified programs. I feel like a lot more eyes get on short track racing thanks to them.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I love it. I think it's great that that Flow's doing all that stuff. I know Dirt Vision does Millbridge, and there's a few others out there. I always try to figure out, when you go to these little hodunk tracks, you got to figure out, okay, is it a local stream? Is it a Flow stream? Is it a big enough? Whose stream is it? And so like Legends Cars, they have their own stream for the big national races that they have and whatnot. So you're always trying to figure it out. So your subscription,
like $600 a year.
Yeah,
on all
exactly.
Of them, just to let you know, on every single.
Well, to that point, I think Flow is probably the best value of all of them.
Oh,
I don't even know
they
how
get
much
good
it
coverage.
is.
Yeah,
and it's
if you're just a race
board.
fan to watch the different forums that they all have on there, it's really good.
And especially now that like every short track, I know Riverhead's on there, Stafford's on there weekly.
Every Friday and Saturday night you can.
There's
I like it
things
during
to
the
watch.
week. You go home, watch the dirt races. Up north now that they start on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights now. So
yeah, it's awesome, and they're friends of ours. So if you ever want to subscribe, you just go to flowsports.link/dbc now /dbc. I'm sorry, flowsports.link/dbc1 to sign up and get your subscription. Especially with all these short tracks getting ready to get into their seasons across the country, you can't really beat it. But Kyle, thank you for dropping by. Hopefully,
no worries,
hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll get you back in here.
Yeah, thanks.
At some point,
we'll have to call him half as many times.
After you win, all the rowdies be happy.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get all the happy calls.
Maybe Kyle will be happy.
Yeah, I'm always happy. Let's go.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in again, and we will see everybody this week in Texas. We're out.
Peace.
See ya.